Hello, good morning to you, and many thanks for joining us. You're watching Galaxy today, coming to you from Galaxy Television. My name is Justin Akadonye.
And he's not alone, he's with Uche Onyekubuje. Good morning and welcome to Galaxy today. Like Justin rightly said, and today being June 11th. Tomorrow is public holiday, but whatever it is, we just want to say welcome on board. So today we'll be looking at the inauguration of 9th National Assembly, as well as improving the quality of teachers on the show. And of course, you know the way to be part of this show is to send an SMS through the number that will be written on the screen. Please do not call, just send SMS, and of course on our social media handles using hashtag Galaxy today.
All right, Senate President top contender Senator Ahmad Lawan enters the chamber accompanied by a large number of senators. The chamber is almost set for inauguration, which is scheduled to commence by 10 a.m. today. We'll be looking at it. We'll go to Abuja in a bit to get some live feeds and updates. But then again, we need to talk about something that has become very, disturbing. Executive Secretary of the Universal Basic Education Commission, Dr. Hamid Boboyi, has revealed that only 57% of the nation's basic education teachers are qualified. That's just about half of the teachers that we have at the primary and JSS level are actually qualified. Boboyi also lamented poor learning outcomes, unqualified teachers, and acute infrastructure deficit in the education sector despite huge investments. He disclosed this in Kaduna in a paper entitled State of Basic Education in Nigeria, Prospects and Challenges. The paper was presented at the ongoing two-day policy retreat with the theme State of Basic Education in Kaduna State, Prospects and Challenges. We're looking at the state of education in Nigeria with a specific focus on the quality of teachers, improving the level of teachers and teaching that we have in the country. And we have a guest here in Lagos who will be discussing all of that with us in a bit. But let's start off with this report on education and inclusive education, and we'll come back and introduce our guests. Do join us again. The Lagos State government has been urged to take action to increase the share of funds allocated to and spent on free, quality, equitable and inclusive public education. This is just as governments are advised to make public education policies, systems and expenditure more sensitive to the right of girls and marginalized children. These form part of the meant by the Human Development Initiatives in support of the Action Aid Nigeria at the rally to mark the Global Action Week on Education. Executive Director HDI Olufunsho Wasonye, flanked by other members, says government must publish budget and expenditure for effective public scrutiny. Others are of the opinion that teachers and school administrators must be trained to handle inclusive schools.
We want government to make inclusive education quality, free, and then accessible. Lagos State is trying, in some schools, and even look at the newly built bridges, they're accessible. We also want the same for the education sector.
Persons with disabilities face is in terms of education, particularly children with disabilities. They lack access to education, the facilities are not available, equipment are inaccessible, teachers are not properly trained, and training in all aspects is absent.
Barriers to learning could include poor teaching, could include infrastructure that are not accessible to children, to some children or even the majority of children.
So we are looking at a situation where every disabled person, in spite of his physical inherent, we fit into the academic sector in the public schools. That is providing necessary equipment, vis-a-vis ramps and comfortable chairs, and teachers that can teach adequately and comfortably to disabled persons.
Receiving the group, Chairman, House Committee on Education, Lagos State House of Assembly, Honorable Larry Ogoyemi, who acknowledges the huge role of education to national development, says the budget for education in Lagos has always been reasonable.
One of the ways to deconstruct a nation is for its education sector to be neglected. Any nation that does so at its own peril. And the only way to enhance the development of a nation, to enhance its manpower, is to strengthen its education.
Global Action Week on Education is making the right to an inclusive, equitable, quality-free public education a reality. Welcome back. You just watched that report on the need to ensure inclusive education in Lagos State and beyond is put together by the Human Development Initiative. But we'll be talking about the level and quality of teachers and teaching in Nigeria, and we have a guest with us here in the studio. So let's welcome a program officer of the Human Development Initiative, Johnson Ibidakbo. We'll still go to Abuja when we get signals to give you live updates on the inauguration of the 9th National Assembly presently ongoing. Many thanks for joining us, Johnson. Thanks for making it possible today as we look at the issue of teaching and teachers. It was really alarming when I read that report specifically. I mean, just 57% of teachers in the UBE qualified. What about the 43%? How did we get to this level? Is it a thing that we just get all sorts of hands to just teach our children, or we don't follow the basic requirements?
Thank you, Justin. I'd like to say that generally we have a challenge, particularly if you look at Nigeria as a nation, and the trend of things that have happened since 2010 up till now. And there have been so much drastic changes. For instance, between 2010 and 2018, you've had a very massive increase in the number of students that have actually been enrolled in schools. And that's also very, very critical. So, of course, the number of teachers who would be attending to such students would also increase. Now, over the past 9 years or thereabouts, of course, I think the Executive Secretary quoted the statistics from 2010 to 2018. It means that, of course, more hands were needed. In fact, according to UNESCO, the world population, the world at large, need a total of up to about 69 million teachers. To meet up with the 2030 goal of education for all. And of course, when you come down to Nigeria and then to Africa, we're talking about 7 million teachers being needed. And then Nigeria is the giant of Africa, not just because of economy or GDP, but you're talking in terms of population. And so here we are talking about the number of teachers. So, of course, even as at today, we have over 13.5 million students in Nigeria, or pupils and children out of school. And of course, every day, with our campaigns and civil society organizations like Human Development Initiatives, you know that there are improvements. Children are being enrolled back into school. So the population of students are increasing, and so you need more teachers. Now, the reason why we have about 43% of the teacher population not qualified will not be far-fetched because...
Jonathan, you know what, we'll still come back to you. I understand we need to take a break. It is Galaxy. Today we're looking at education on today's topic, specifically improving the quality of teachers in Nigeria. We'll be right back. Do join us again. The Lagos State government has been urged to take action to increase the share of funds allocated to and spent on free, quality, equitable and inclusive public education. This is just as governments are advised to make public education policies, systems and expenditure more sensitive to the right of girls and marginalized children. These form part of demands by the Human Development Initiatives in support of the Action Aid Nigeria. at a rally to mark the Global Action Week on Education. Executive Director HDI Olufunsho Wasonye, flanked by other members, says government must publish budget and expenditure for effective public scrutiny. Others are of the opinion that teachers and school administrators must be trained to handle inclusive schools.
We want government to make inclusive education quality, free, and then accessible. Lagos State is trying, in some schools, and even look at the newly built bridges, they're accessible. We also want the same for the education sector.
Persons with disabilities face is in terms of education, particularly children with disabilities. They lack access to education, the facilities are not available, equipment are inaccessible, teachers are not properly trained, and training in all aspects is absent.
Barriers to learning could include poor teaching, could include infrastructure that are not accessible to children, to some children, or even the majority of children.
So we are looking at a situation where every disabled person, in the part of his physical inherent, we fit into the academic sector in the public schools. That is providing necessary equipment, vis-a-vis ramps and comfortable chairs, and teachers that can teach.
All right, welcome back. It is still Galaxy. Today, we had to take that break. Johnson Ibidakpo was talking to us about why 43% of teachers may not be qualified before we went on that break. Please continue, Johnson.
Thank you. I was saying that the increase in the number of students would, of course, require an increase, a corresponding increase in the number of teachers. But then we may have to come to the definition of who a teacher really is. So who is a teacher? A teacher is a professional who is saddled with the responsibility of educating students, whether pupils of primary school or students of junior secondary schools, senior secondary schools, who have requisite skills and certificate. So for you to be a teacher, you must be certificated. And I think the good thing is that Nigeria still has the Teachers Federation Council of Nigeria, so which is a very good one, which I think it's a plus for us that gets to accredit and certify teachers. So before you can say teachers are not qualified, it means it's either they lack the requisite skills and particularly certification.
Okay.
So it means that 43% of teachers responsible for delivering basic education in Nigeria do not have the certificates to teach. And of course, these are due to a number of factors. Many of them, for instance, you'll be talking about lack of interest for the students of education. For instance, those who go to our colleges of education, the National Teachers Institute, you have polytechnics, you have universities of education, then you have faculties of education that are responsible for training teachers. Let's go there and find out the bulk of the people who go there are students, and then you discover that they are accidental students of education. There are people who have gone to, to sit for JAM, and then they had low scores, and then they had to end up in a university or institute of education because, of course, there was no interest in the first place. But far from that, let's talk about the people who actually teach today. Of course, we have the National Youth Service scheme that is still operational, and of course, we remember that the federal government some time ago said that the bulk of people who go for youth service should teach.
Go to the classes, yeah.
How many of those people actually are trained teachers? And then you get to know that, of course, even as at now, the bulk of the people we have as teachers cannot service the country. So we have a low number of teachers compared to the needs of Nigerians. So now, many of these graduates, even after their national service, cannot secure jobs. So what comes up at the end of the day is that, of course, they get, mainstreamed into the system, and look at the current N-Power scheme of the federal government. Many of the graduates who are jobless, of course, it's a good scheme, very laudable initiative, but the bulk of the people you have on this scheme are actually people that were not trained teachers. Maybe they are from the sciences or from the arts and commercial classes, somebody who read accounting. I mean, during my youth service, I studied psychology, first degree, second degree. So, but during my youth service, when I got to a school where I served, they said, were you a science student? I said, yes, I was a science student when I was in the in fact, I did pre-degree. I was a science student, I was a pre-degree student. So they said, okay, in this school we have a problem. We have need of chemistry teachers. I said, fine. Chemistry used to be one of my best subjects, so I said, there's no problem. So, but in actual fact, if you look at the facts and look at what is required for you to teach chemistry, you don't just have a bachelor's degree in chemistry. You should have, that's why those who are students of education and graduates are called double honors students. They have double honors. Because apart from doing the basic courses, whether chemistry or biology or physics, they also have to go through some sets of trainings in education.
Exactly where I wanted to go to. You've been saying that a whole lot of, some of these people are not certified in terms of certificate.
Yeah.
But I think that when it comes to teaching, there's a part of skill. There's a part of passion.
Yeah.
And there's also a part where you should understand the psychology of the children you're taking.
Yeah.
So if you're saying that it's possible we could have a lot of people go to school and be certified, but are they able to transfer knowledge? Because like you said, you did psychology,
yeah,
but you were able to transfer knowledge, not just because you were good at chemistry. You understand the psychology of children. So I could be a teacher, and because it's not my passion and I don't have the skills, still does not mean that my certificate can help me transfer knowledge.
Yeah.
How are we dealing with that part? Because I remember in my own era, some people were given the courses they studied not because they want to, but simply because I just have to go to school.
Definitely.
I might have said that I want to be a medical doctor, and because I didn't meet up the cutoff, they just sent me to education and I'm doing guidance and counseling.
Yeah.
That still does not qualify me as a teacher.
Yeah.
What is the education board doing to see that our teachers do not only possess certificate, but they also possess the necessary skill? Because we're talking about transfer of knowledge, and what we see today is simply because a lot of teachers are in school because they need to feed. Yeah. What are we doing in that aspect?
Thank you. I would say that the government has a whole lot to do
Okay.
in terms of regulating the key players in the education sector, particularly people who impart knowledge.
Okay.
No nation can grow above the level or the quality of our teachers, and in fact, Nigeria as a society, we are so deficient in terms of what we place values on. For instance, a medical doctor in Nigeria is, of course, we know things are not even as they should be, but if you're a doctor and, a doctor and a teacher placed side by side, nobody wants to identify with the teacher because you are seen as a failure already. Because why would you go into teaching? Teaching doesn't make sense. And so even the psyche of the average Nigerian is configured to think that a teacher is inferior in terms of what you have to deliver. Whereas it's not so, because every profession was trained by a teacher. And that is why people of sound mind and who are alert and who have what we call emotional intelligence should be the people that will be allowed to go into teaching. And they must be screened. I believe that they should have the passion for teaching.
Okay.
If you have no passion for teaching, then in fact you have failed before you started.
Okay, you know what, we'll come back to you, but let's get another perspective to all of this discussion as we go to Ekiti State. We have the chairman, academic staff of secondary schools in Ekiti joining us this morning. That's Comrade Shola Adigun. Good morning to you. Many thanks for joining us, Comrade Adigun, as we look at this issue that is a big challenge. Looking at the level of teaching in education, how would you score the teachers in Ekiti State? Because so far from what we hear, about 43% of teachers are not really qualified. What's the situation in Ekiti State?
Good morning, presenter in the studio and the guests over there. Good morning, audience. What I want to say about teaching and teachers in Ekiti State is that as at now, teachers in Ekiti State, as human beings, and considering the present condition we find ourselves, we can say we are doing our best. Teachers in Ekiti State can be said to be doing their best. But when we are looking at the topic we are treating this morning, improving the quality of teachers. And so I want us to also look at that, how quality of teachers in Ekiti can be improved. Indeed, let's go to the population of teachers per student. It is recommended by UNESCO that it's going to be a teacher per 25 pupils in a classroom. The question we're going to ask ourselves, do we have that in Ekiti? Another state? The answer is no. And so the first way to improve teachers and teaching in any state is that recommendation should be implemented holistically. Therefore, we need more teachers in Ekiti. We want teachers to, I want to go back to the statistics, 4 years of thereafter. Secondary school teachers in Ekiti is about 15,000. 15,000. As I'm talking to you, we are less than 8,000. That means that we are short of more than 4,000 teachers. And so, if their quality will be improved, then new teachers that are qualified must be employed. And we are not talking about just employing teachers. We are talking about teachers that are passionate about this profession. It's not every teacher we find in the classroom that are passionate about this great profession. Some of them see this profession as a stepping stool to greater height. So such teacher may not likely to produce the best, to give the best. So in employing teacher, we want the employer to look at people that love this job, that willingly go to the university, tertiary institution to study education. Not only that, people that have passion, love to impart knowledge zealously into the life of the pupils and students. Teachers that can go extra mile to motivate themselves, because the environment we find ourselves motivating. So before you can exhibit that quality of good teachers, you must be self-motivated. So we want such teachers. Then it is highly expedient and very important to say that these days, your pocket determines your motivation. So what am I saying, Nestor? Is that there should be regular payment of salary, promotions, others of promotions must be implemented. Then there is an element of the teachers, generally in this country, must be looked into. If other professions are well paid, and teachers must be well paid also. Let me tell you, you will agree with me, that financial benefit is one of the means of attracting the best to a particular profession. So if we want the best to be retained in teaching profession, then salaries of teachers must be improved. And that's why we are saying teachers must be put on special salary scale, just like other professions, so that we can be able to retain our best. Do you know that one of my teachers that taught me in secondary school traveled out of the country. And he had the second degree, his PhD, and by the time I asked from him, his profession over there, despite his PhD, this man is still a secondary school teacher.
Or that have been employed to teach in schools in Ekiti State. Specifically, do you mean in just primary school, or is it in secondary school, or is it just in general terms in government-owned schools? What's the situation with that of the private schools in Ekiti State?
From my findings, we can say public school is even better off. Public school is better off. You realize that what private proprietors are paying school teachers, country or price, is nothing to write home about. So, I have heard about graduates being paid a token of 10,000 naira monthly, 12,000 naira, and these teachers will be made to work, do nothing less than about 30 periods per week. Such teachers cannot be happy on the job. Such teachers cannot give the best. So you can realize that the private sector is even worse. I think why we can say they are having results is because these teachers that are finding themselves in private school had no option. And so the only thing they are handle, they want to do it at least for a while. So the private sector is not doing fine when we are talking about.
Much for your input. We've been speaking with Comrade Shola Digun. He is the chairman, academic staff of secondary school in Ekiti State. He gave us a perspective on teachers and education, both public and primary in Ekiti State. Thank you so much for your contributions. We'll go to Ibadan in a bit, but let's still stay in Lagos and let me get reactions from Johnson Ibidakpo. We heard that from the teacher himself in Ekiti State, how he said that motivation, as per financial motivation, is one of the things that actually give teachers the encouragement to teach better. But then again, he also talked about the place of not really having enough teachers and where one teacher might be doing like 30 periods. What's the ideal situation, really?
Well, if I will start from the matter of teacher to pupil ratio, he mentioned 1 to 28 as recommended by UNESCO. Yeah. The Nigerian policy on education says it should be, the ideal situation should be 1 to 40. Okay. But that is still far from the reality on ground in Lagos State, for instance, in other states too. The problems are rife. It's everywhere. We have situations in which you have a classroom with more than 150 pupils, students, sometimes. The other time we were on inspection to a school here in Lagos, and we found the head teacher. No, it was a junior secondary school. The principal of that school had to use her discretion and say that some students, because there was no rain, should go under the tree and take some fresh air. Because even some of us merely entering to that classroom, we could have fainted. It was so unconducive. So that is a problem. So talking about the number of teachers, it is grossly inadequate. We need more teachers, trained teachers, but passionate teachers. People who have the passion to teach and impart knowledge. In those days, teachers used to be very good models. Teachers used to be people that you want to pattern your life after. Unfortunately, things have changed. I also have to mention the fact that many of our teachers too, who even probably have passion, are not taken through trainings and retrainings. And so this has led to a situation in which you have analog teachers teaching digital students. So it's a problem too. So our teachers need to also, apart from the government training and retraining them, they should upgrade themselves and know what obtains outside the country.
But talking about upgrading now, I don't mean to play down on upgrading, but how would you upgrade yourself if you don't have the facilities to sustain what you've upgraded? I mean, you said analog teachers teaching digital students. If I go digital and I don't have the facilities, I mean, there's the normal adage that says practice makes perfect.
That's true.
So how do I upgrade myself and the facilities are not there?
Thank you. I would like to say that the government still comes into play here, because you cannot remove the place of remuneration when it comes to motivation. Motivation is a psychological concept. And then when people are motivated, when you come to school and you know that your salary is going to be paid, not just paid at the end of 6 months, but paid as at when due, you are happy to come and teach. But you can imagine a teacher who has 4 kids or 4 children in school, is a teacher, the wife is a teacher, especially in Ekiti State. That's my state anyways. So I grew up from that place, so I know what happens. No, you don't really have company. So the husband is a teacher, the wife is a teacher, and the government is owing you 6 months salary. How do you expect such teachers to come to the classroom and teach and then impact knowledge and be happy?
Okay, but let's look at our syllabuses now. I mean, I schooled in the 90s, and I see some of, okay, by the time I had my secondary school and when I served, I was made to teach. I served in Port Harcourt City. We all moved to the classroom. And I realized that some of the novels, or let me say, I was a very good literature student, so some of the prose and the dramas and the poems we used in my senior secondary, I saw them using it in their junior secondary. And I was wondering why we still have such books, such books for our junior secondary, knowing that for me, I did this over a decade. Why do we still have such books in our syllabuses? And if we must have them, why do we still have foreign books
and authors?
And authors, you know, I did William Shakespeare, I did Oliver Goldsmith, and they still do it now. I thought we've gotten to a stage where we have to do more of our own, tell our own stories. Yeah. We have a whole lot of stories to tell. Why do we still do that?
I would say that Nigeria, we have a great potential to grow. Okay. But as much as possible, why we must give some credit to the present government for what they've been trying to do. Our education system is still backward. A lot of improvement is still needed. Why we must give the government some credit for at least, trying to review the curriculum. Because in other climes, what happens is that the government releases researchers to go into town to find out the needs of the particular communities. And it's from these needs that, the curriculum is developed. And then when you develop such curricula, even the students have a feel of wanting to solve societal problems. Okay. Not just talking about 1 + 1 = 2. That doesn't put food on anybody's table these days anymore. But by the time you begin to talk about the practical applicability of these things to solving, peculiar problems and societal problems, how do these things actually relate to what we are doing? So it would really help to change the status quo.
All right, we have Comrade Raji Oladimeji. He is with the Nigerian Union of Teachers in Oyo State, standing by. Good morning to you, Comrade Oladimeji. Let's get the perspective of the Nigerian Union of Teachers. Most of the times, the NUT complains about remuneration. Just recently, the NUT also went on strike in Ibadan. I heard the strike was just called off. I really want to get the situation in your state, judging by the strike that your union embarked upon. What are the issues really that is bedeviling the quality of teaching and education in your state?
Good morning, presenter, and good morning, viewers at home. I thank you for this opportunity. It's quite unfortunate that we went on strike in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we have resumed, because of the magnanimity of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Oyo State, who acceded you know, and give us all necessary things that we needed in terms of demand. You know, we went on strike because we keep on repeating the same thing every time. That is, you know, motivation that we have all been talking about, giving motivation, all necessary motivation to our teachers. You know, when those salaries are being paid, but the salary of primary and other sectors, you know, promotion for the past 8 years, you know, nothing like promotion for the past 8 years. Even when the papers were released for the promotion, there was nothing like financial benefit. You know, all these things led us to, and some other issues, even that has to do with infrastructure and other things, you know, supply of instructional materials in our various schools. So that led us to the strike. But by and large, everything is over, the siege is over, we are back to school, because we have, you know, at least 80% of our demand had been met. But now talking holistically about education in Oyo State, you know, with respect to that major problem that you all have been talking about, that is shortage of teachers, I think is a general problem. It's everywhere. We have it in primary, we have it in secondary school. And one good thing that has happened is the Nigerian Union of Teachers has all equally, you know, they are now putting up a measure to make sure that, you know, to combat this issue of shortage of teachers. Take into consideration that, you know, state governments are not employing teachers, and the last time you can, in various states, in the last 4 or 5 years, how can you see any state government, you know, recruiting more hands? But the Nigerian Union of Teachers, good as it is, they have now presented, you know, lobby through the House National Assembly to make sure that, you know, the extension of years, you know, should be given to our teachers, such that, you know, the competent hands are not just, you know, we do not allow them just to go away like that. Take into consideration that, you know, we don't have people to replace them. So that is at the National Assembly, and it has gone. I think that that bill is on the table of His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, waiting for assent. If that one is done, majority of our holders, experienced teachers, those that have, you know, undergone rudiment of education and who knows, who can handle this methodology very well in schools, will be retained. This is why, such that these incoming teachers who believe that, you know, have not gotten enough experience will be able to tap from their wealth of experience. So that is that. But when you are looking at teacher, you know, a teacher, an average teacher, especially these days, you know, must be purposeful. Why am I in this job? Who is your role model? If you go to sport now, everybody wants to become Ronaldo. Everybody wants to become Messi. You know, we should have that kind of passion, you know, in teaching line. I want to become someone like Ransom Kuti. You know, there are some other good big names in teaching. But in these days, you discover that, you know, it is not the order of the day. So a teacher must be purposeful. Then at the same time, teacher must be somebody who should be able to evaluate his activities. You need to evaluate your activities. What are you doing? Are you doing the right thing? Where is your strength? Where is your weakness? So that when you are planning your lesson note or whatever, planning your activities, then you'll be able to know, you know, where to concentrate on. Then at the same time, you also need to welcome constructive feedback, suggestion. Let people criticize you. Let parents come and let parents, you know, visit you in your school. Let them criticize you. Listen to their criticism. Then you'll be able, from there, you'll be able to pick, you know, and I mean, you know, build on your weakness such that, you know, your weakness become your strength. And there are some other things. Teacher these days, I am happy, you know, when you were presenting that, you know, a digital, an adult teacher teaching a digital student. That is the situation. A teacher, another teacher now should think, you know, they should have to wake from their slumbers. What do I mean? That is capacity building. You need to go for capacity building, not necessarily waiting for government. The Nigerian Union of Teachers is doing that to some extent, and that is why we appreciate them. So we are also calling on government that, you know, the NGO, NUT cannot do it all alone. The government should also wake up from their slumbers, organize refresher courses, organize capacity building workshop for our teachers, so that, you know, they will be able to do what, update their knowledge. Not only that, there must be an open communication, open door policy in our schools. You allow parents to come down to school, discuss with them the progress that has been made by their wards or their children. Where they are lacking behind, you need to tell them. With this, you are building a conducive environment for children, to learn. And teachers is a parent in the school. Teacher is a life builder. We are all in all. So children are looking on to us.
All right. All right, thank you so much. That's as much as we can take from Ibadan. We've been speaking with Comrade Raji Oladimeji. He was the Nigerian Union of Teachers, NUT, in Oyo State. He talked to us concerning issues that led to the strike that they embarked upon 2 weeks ago, and of course other issues in Oyo State concerning teachers and education alike. All right, it is still Galaxy today. We will go to Abuja in a bit. At the start of the show, we told you we'll be taking live feeds concerning the 9th Assembly inauguration, which is underway right now. And we will be talking with our correspondent, Godfrey Eshomage. From what we hear, the Senate chamber is in rowdy session over voting pattern, with the contention on whether or not the standing order of 2015, which stipulates secret ballot, will stand. Godfrey Eshomage, many thanks once again for standing by. What's the situation right now?
Good morning, Justin. And we're already having the inauguration in process, already on the way. Right now, the main talking point was at the point of the speech of the clerk of the National Assembly, Samuel Olori, before he actually began the main proceedings, threw it open to the House that the issue of the voting pattern was likely to, the issue of the voting pattern, which was likely to be the main issue of controversy, was going to be a closed secret ballot, as agreed in line with the 2015 standing order. But then, of course, there's been an outcry against that, mainly from the APC ranks, because they feel that may not favor them. So the clerk of the National Assembly has come out to clarify on that they are sticking with the standing order of 2015, which stipulates that the voting pattern will be secret ballot. Well, of course, the clerk of the National Assembly made it clear that he hasn't taken delivery of the court order supposedly delivered on yesterday, that was Monday, stipulating that they should put the standing order of 2015 aside to use the open ballot. So far in the chamber, beyond the voting pattern, so far in the chamber we already have dignitaries from all over, including governors, APC governors, led by Governor Fayemi of Ekiti, as well as other dignitaries who have come to grace this morning's inauguration. So it's a potpourri of activity here, and we're expecting things to unfold in the next few minutes when the actual election of the presiding officers is expected to commence.
All right, thank you, Godfrey. From what we hear 2 days ago, on Saturday specifically, 61 senators had endorsed the candidature of Senator Ahmed Lawan. What's the situation right now? Plus, we hear that there is also a bit of a tension at the House of Representatives as well. What's the situation? Let us know, please.
Well, let's start from that of the House of Representatives. Well, the tension basically may stem from the fact that it is yet unclear if the outgone Speaker of the House of Reps, Yakubu Dogara, has the ambition to run for a second term, because, of course, the rumor mills making the rounds that he is nursing the ambition to throw his hat in the ring. But that we're yet to clarify on that. But that is a rumor making the rounds, and that may be the cause of the tension in the House of Reps. But for the Senate, the PDP finally came out with a position with regards to where they are set to pitch their tent. Of course, going to elections like these, the alignments are bound to change even in the 11th hour. So as it is right now, the PDP are throwing their heart in the ring in favor of Alain Dume, who has decided to not follow the position of the APC, who have given their endorsement to Ahmed Lawan, the Senate leader of the 8th Senate. So right now, the alliances are bound to change. From the Saturday's event, where 61 senators gave their support to Ahmed Lawan, those comprised of PDP senators, but with the position of the PDP yesterday evening, of course, you should be sure that things are about to change. So there may be some surprises springing up during the elections, because alliances will definitely change, and we're definitely going to see the PDP switching their votes to Alain Dume, because if the PDP have decided that should be the position of the party, of course, no member will want to disobey that. And of course, the same thing equally exists in the House of Reps, where they have given their blessings, as it were, to Umar Bago, who is the
Okay, Godfrey.
For the race for the speakership. Yes.
Don't know if you've been able to have a chat, a bit of a parley with some of the senators-elect and members-elect from the House of Representatives concerning today's inauguration. What's the pulse like? Have you felt it?
The polls has been from the beginning of this week, from yesterday. The polls has been from both divides, actually. On the side of the APC, they are going to go all out, supposedly, for the choice of the party, that's Kemi Gbajabiamila. While for the PDP, these are definitely going to be the spoilers in the party of the APC, because they feel, okay, if you feel we are not relevant in this race, so we're going to spring some surprises. Basically that is the mood generally. It's a mixed bag, really. Even amongst the APC senators, some may not be inclined to following the direction of the APC, who feel imposition may not be in the interest, so that imposition, quote unquote, may not be in the overall interest of the House, because the people of the members of the House of Representatives are well informed to decide who their next presiding officers should be. So that is the situation as it is right now.
Assembly correspondent there, Godfrey Ishomage, telling us about what to expect today at the inauguration of the 9th Assembly, as people are expectant senators-elect, and of course members-elect are going to vote who the principal officers will be today, and Trust Galaxy TV News will bring you up to date and up to speed when we get more reports. Many thanks once again, Godfrey Ishomage. It is Galaxy today. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, I would still have Johnson Ibidapo. Let him tell us more about what to do concerning the proliferation of unapproved schools across Lagos and beyond, and of course where school leavers are now teaching in these schools. In a moment when we return, stay with us. Welcome back. We still have Johnson Ibidapo, Program Officer, Human Development Initiatives. I need to talk about that, this proliferation. There are several schools. Almost every house, has like 2 rooms where students are being taught. We have makeshift schools. Some of them are ever unapproved, and you find that people who has just left secondary schools are actually teaching in those schools.
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation we've found ourselves. Even though we have to acknowledge the fact that there is a need for more schools, because government schools or government-owned schools alone cannot cater for the teeming population of Lagosians, particularly in educating their children and their wards. But I think the government still comes into point here, because the government is a regulator, and they should serve that role very, very effectively. The very unfortunate incident of Itafaji that happened the other time shouldn't have actually occurred if I think if government had actually stepped in, because many issues like this are still going on. And a colleague, for instance, in the office told me that there was a building just like that around where he stays, And before a school can be approved by government to be a functional private school, I think a couple of things come into play. For instance, the environment. It's a very critical factor. You don't just say, I want to start a school, and then you put 2 bedrooms, like you said, together, and then you begin to collect the children of all your neighbors and all around. And then some of these environments are so dirty and stinking. Children can even contract terrible diseases. So the government still comes into play, and so the department of the Ministry of Education, Lagos State Ministry of Education, that looks into this, for instance, in Lagos, even all over Nigeria, should come into effect and come hard on some of these schools that don't have approval. We have more than 5,000 of these schools, for example, in Lagos State, for instance, and so it's a large number. And the other day, somebody came to my office with a girl of about 6 years old. What happened? The young girl had been violated in a school, an unregistered school, a school we, Human Development Initiatives, reported to the Ministry of Education and to the police department. There was a teacher there who had just left secondary school. And this young girl had she kept complaining that this uncle fingers her whenever she goes into the toilet. Until the day he finally penetrated her, and then she got home and then wanted to urinate, and of course when she wanted to pee, there was blood all over the place, and the mom had to, this is a problem, and of course she saw a broken hymen, had to rush to the office. And so we took up the case and expected that school would be shut down in 24 hours. As I'm speaking to you, the school is still operating.
Wow, that's rather sad.
Okay.
Uche, you have some comments?
Yes, there's some comments here. A lot of people are making comments. I'd like to start with this particular one. He said, do you think free education is practicable for all and sundry in Oyo State, considering what it takes to make public school attractive? That is from Kola. This one says, teachers that are qualified are not employed. Unqualified teachers have maneuvered their way into schools. Employment should not be based on politics. And then he said his name is Adriano from Ekiti State. This one says, beyond teachers' welfare, which is though necessary, my take is that the recruitment process should be of the best quality, devoid of political and other quantitative considerations. In Oyo State, many non-teaching staff were made teachers after possessing rather questionable qualifications, and their productivity leaves much to be desired. Remember the Oyo State experience. Even in Ekiti State and other states, teachers are apprehensive of competence assessment via examination on subjects purportedly taught year on year. The beautiful ones should be encouraged to be teachers. Before I read on, would you want to say anything? Because it looks like these 3 are complaining about incompetence, and it looks like a politics somehow plays this, like just what you just said now.
Yes, I think the president said something very important, that corruption will kill this country if we don't kill it. I mean, the level of corruption that comes into play when teachers are being recruited is something that should be of concern to all and sundry. Because teachers are not recruited based on their qualifications, it's based on whom you know. And that is a big problem.
Okay, just to buttress your point, this one said, improving the quality of teachers' passion and certificate aren't enough. Nigeria is failing today because we failed to employ those who can deliver. If we took samples from a primary school best teachers and then none and SCE, that's why the white are leading. They believe in practical ways, and probably Nigerians need deliverance. Said his name is Ayodeji Owuyemi from Ibadan. And this one is saying, hello, good morning, please. Can you classify these professions? Okay, no, this is not related to what we're saying. Okay, this one said, improving the quality of teachers. Okay, I've just read this. All right. Okay. The government should try as much as possible to conduct a proper training and examination for those to be employed. They talk about from Ekiti State. It looks like this is dominance in Ekiti. Most of the comments are from Ekiti State. So looking at this saying that government should bring in examination and proper whatever, in your own statement, just in 30 seconds, what would you suggest that government do to move us forward in getting very good and practicable and passionate teachers?
I think it's a good idea, but the government should work with the Teachers Education Council of Nigeria. There is an exam that just been finished. About 30,000 teachers actually passed through that, but they've not been employed anyways. But is the way to go. But unfortunately, our body language in Nigeria is against development, really. Because in the same state this man sent this message from was the same state in which this current governor, when he was former governor, tried to organize an examination for teachers, and then people kicked against it. So, however, my candid advice and the advice of HDI is that the government, while trying to organize trainings, examinations, should work in partnership with the Teachers Education Council of Nigeria of each state, so that it wouldn't be seen as trying to vilify anybody or having any political sort of undertones. You know, I think this will help us.
Well, thank you so much. That's as much as we can take on this this course for today. We've been looking at improving the quality of teachers / education in Nigeria. And our guest in Lagos has been Program Officer, Human Development Initiative, Johnson Ibidakpo. And of course, we had our Senate correspondent, Godfrey Ishomege, bring us up to speed on the inauguration of the 9th National Assembly.
And from Ekiti, we had Comrade Shola Adigun, Chairman, Academic Staff of Secondary School from Ekiti State, and Comrade Raji Oladimeji, Nigerian Union of Teachers from Oyo State. This is Raul Polikanen. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'm Uche Onyekuruje. Bye for now.
And I'm Justin Akadanye. Tomorrow is Democracy Day. Tomorrow's edition promises to be very informative. You want to tune in for that one. Bye for now.